Wow.
Turn around, put your hands behind your back.
I was trying to...
Turn around and put your hands behind
Crazy hoes.
You're going to be under arrest for obstructing if you do not comply.
Crazy hoes.
Stand
right
up.
now. Oh, right back. What it is, guys, it's your boy BlastphamousHD, connoisseur of expensive juices. And today we are here to check out a video you guys have sent to me in the DMs of the Discord called simply When Cops Have to Arrest Their Friends. Let's do this.
Cops are usually dealing with people and criminals they've never seen before. But what happens when instead it's their own friends that they have to arrest?
Yep, shoot 'em.
Ain't nobody jumped out, Buck.
Yes, they did. Kevin, did they
Stay
not?
out of this, Kevin!
Here are 3 examples of this happening, starting with the case of Buck Preston.
Buck. What? You know you ain't got... Damn, Michael. You know you ain't got a driver's
Fucking got
license.
him.
Don't do this, please.
I got to.
Man, goddamn, Michael. Please.
I got to.
No, listen to me.
No.
Please, just listen.
Sheriff sent me.
No.
Sheriff, Captain, I mean, they've seen you driving, we gotta get you.
One of the cons to small town living is that everybody knows each other, including the cops.
Yep.
The town sheriff claims to have seen Buck driving his Chevy pickup, but nearly every cop in town knows he doesn't have his license. So what else is there for Buck to do to try and explain his way out of it?
One time they caught me boning a police captain's daughter at the top of a Texas station parking lot. Cops caught us. They let us go because they didn't want to touch us. Baby girl was slathered in it.
I'm telling you, I'm just trying to tell you something. Listen, if you listen to me. The person that was driving this truck just jumped out of the fucking on goddamn Lake Morality and goddamn I had no other way to get it here, buddy. I swear to God, I'm not going to drive it no more. I promise you.
No, I got to.
Gotta do it.
31 to 12.
Michael, look, I know.
Crazy, bro. I just passed it.
Your shirt looked like it got food and pee on it.
And he didn't turn around.
No, it looked like it been drawn on your shirt.
I just swear to God, if you listen to me, bro, I swear to God.
Your God cannot save you.
He's stating someone jumped out behind the wheel.
Your God cannot save you. No, truck home. No, Buck,
You can't get a driver's license in the state of Florida, dude. That's how bad it is.
Buck's story is that his friend was driving his truck, but ditched him out near a lake, leaving him with no option but to drive back home himself. Unfortunately for Buck, though, we are in the 21st century, and the officer reminds him he could have just called someone with a license to drive him back, and that he still broke the law regardless of the circumstances. Predictably, Buck wasn't very happy about this.
I get it, but man, you still can't drive, bro. Pull it off the road and wait till someone has a valid license.
What?
Let's go.
Buck about to get
Crazy, dude.
other
Would
words.
you tell him?
Let's go, Buck. I'm not playing this game.
What do you mean? I'm telling you the truth.
Nobody
That
jumped
does
out.
not matter. Oh, yeah, there it is.
I'm pissed on your wall foot.
Yeah, there it is. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you something.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody jumped out, Buck.
Ain't nobody jumped out. Ain't nobody jumped
Stay out
out,
of this,
Buck.
Kevin.
Did they not? Kevin, back off.
Kevin, you stay out of
Hey,
this.
you stay out of this, Kevin.
Back up, Kevin.
I don't know who Kevin is.
I'm trying to respect when you gonna run for me like that. Get up.
Despite the chase not lasting very long at all this did was add an extra charge to Buck's already fairly long list. And given how close everyone seems to be here, you just know this police chase is going to be the talk of the town. Part of the struggle on the ground had to be cut, but the cops reported that Buck resisted so hard that they had to deploy a taser to make him calm down. The footage returns when Buck was fully restrained and handcuffed. Buck was taken to the officer's patrol vehicle and driven back to the station. Obviously angry, he decided to make the conversation on the way back personal.
I don't talk to you about your mama in this. I don't give a fuck if you talk to me about my mom or not. Leave my family out of this, dog. All I'm saying is this. Would she be proud of you for sticking that fucking taser to me when I was not even resisting when you done that? You were resisting. What the fuck I was? You had me. Yeah, that's why we had each other in headlocks. Whatever. Look, Buck, stop bringing my mom into it.
There's little information about what happened to Buck after this video, but it's likely he was charged with driving without a license and resisting arrest. There's an argument that Buck could also be hit with fleeing to elude an officer, but this is a felony that comes with a 5-year prison sentence. It's more likely the officer gave his friend the misdemeanor charge worth just a couple months in jail. It's unlikely the suspects in this next case got the same treatments though, as it wasn't just a civilian caught breaking the law, but also their cop friend.
Hello. How you doing? Reason I stopped you is your right brake light is out. Who do you work for?
So did you stop me because my right brake light is out?
Yeah.
Or did you stop me to ask me who I work for?
Well, I'm asking you both.
DCS.
What?
DCS.
DCS. What's DCS?
You don't know what
Department of Children's Services?
As he mentioned, the suspect named Petra Edgerton was originally pulled over for a broken brake light. But the officer quickly noticed something else, a police badge around Petra's neck. Firstly, this cop doesn't recognize the supposed officer, but it's also unusual to see a police officer driving around in a broken car. Something feels off, so the cop decides to investigate further.
See your license then? Do you have your badge on you? Like your ID badge?
ID badge for
Being a police officer.
See, this is what's conflicting. You're asking me all those questions.
Right.
Saying you stopped me with my right brake light.
So, if you're a police officer, you understand what probable cause is, right?
So what's the probable cause?
Your right brake light's out.
My right brake light wasn't out when you followed me out of the gas station.
Yeah, it is. It's out right now.
The car wasn't even on when you followed me out of the
Doesn't
gas
matter. You're driving with a brake light out on the streets, so it's an
station.
equipment
Okay, you
violation.
followed me out of the gas station.
I saw it when you were pulling out.
At this point, the brake light issue is the least of the cops' worries. It's difficult to classify what exactly an off-duty officer is supposed to act like, but something about Petra is triggering alarm bells for the cop. She's acting defensive, being closed off, and giving strange, vague answers to questions that a real cop would be able to answer. So it's time to quit the games and figure out exactly what's going on here.
Look, long story short, I just want to know who you work for.
And that's the issue. Why do you want to know who I work for?
Because I've never seen you around here before. You're not a police officer that works here.
You don't know who I am. If
That's
you just
right.
said you never seen me.
Right. So, are you a police officer or are you not a police officer?
So because a black person walks into a store with a badge and a gun, it's an issue.
That has nothing to do with you being black. Are you a police officer or you're not a police officer?
Not a police officer.
You're not a police officer?
No.
So why would you go into Quick Trip and get free food with your badge and gun?
Because I'm an officer. You don't have to be a police officer to go in there. I've been doing it for 3 years.
So you're not a certified police officer.
It's not probable cause. It's a personal thing.
There are a dozen ways for a cop to prove that they work for a certain agency. For example, she could give the name of her department and supervisor and have the cop check the names with them. This would only take a couple minutes and any real cop would know this, so the fact that she's getting defensive instead and turning this into a personal thing is a huge red flag. It's also clear that Petra doesn't seem to realize what she actually did wrong. Just minutes earlier, she was seen inside the store presenting her badge and gun to the cashier and walking out with free food. This isn't just cop impersonation, it's theft. So the cop needs to get to the bottom of this.
Did I steal from
Are you
Quick
a,
Trip?
yeah, if you're not a police officer.
I did not steal from Quick Trip. I went up to the register, spoke to the guy that works there, and told him I had his drink.
So you're presenting yourself as a police officer with your badge and your gun on the side.
Okay.
Do you understand that?
I do understand that. But my issue with you is, you seen that. You say because you never seen me before.
So who do you work for?
Me out of the store.
Who do you work for? Who is DCS?
How long have you been working here?
12 years, 13 years.
How do you not know what DCS is?
There's, like I said, is it Department of Children's Services? What is it? Explain it to me.
I don't have to explain myself to you. If you're gonna give me a ticket for a tail light, you give me a ticket for a tail light.
Okay. You see your license?
Since he's getting nothing out of Petra, the cop decides to call up DCS himself, and his suspicions get instantly confirmed.
You hear the crap she's talking? Imagine trying to mate with one of these things. The results would be preposterous, disastrous even. Don't do it.
Who's your supervisor?
What do they have to do with my brake light?
What it has to do with is you told me you're a police officer or you're an officer for DCS. I've got DCS on the phone. They say you don't work there. So who's your supervisor?
It seems that the suspect knows at least something about policing, as she chooses to remain silent from now on. So the cop turns his attention to the passenger of this vehicle, who at this point hasn't said a word. When he asks for her ID, he gets a huge surprise.
I have one of your employees here, Brandy Green. She was with her friend, Petra Edgerton. Brandy decided that she was going to give Petra her badge and her gun to go into Quick Trip and get some food. So I pulled them over for a broken tail light. Petra was driving. She had the badge on and the gun on. When I pulled them over, she identified herself as a DCS officer and then later admitted to not being a DCS officer. And your employee, Brandy Green, admitted to giving her the gun and the badge to go into Quick Trip to get the free food.
After investigating just a little further, both Petra and the actual cop, Brandy Green, admit to everything. Following the incident, Brandy resigned from her job at the DCS, and Petra is facing felony charges for impersonation, carrying a sentence of up to 5 years in prison. There's many more examples of these cops that seem to just forget they also need to follow the rules, just like Corporal Scott Bertzik did on New Year's Day 2021. When Officer Brooke Shutterly arrived at the scene of a car crash, she realized it wasn't just her supervisor at the wheel, but a good friend of hers.
Dude looked like a lady. That was a lady boy. That was not a female. There was no vagina to be had there.
Not really. Are you okay?
Oh yeah, no, I'm good.
Your car's fucked up.
No, absolutely. Which I just fucking fixed.
Obviously, Brooke and Scott are familiar with each other, and curiously, Scott holds nothing back when describing exactly how the incident went down. It's clear that Scott is the one at fault here, so before going any further, Brooke decides to call back to the base to ask whether or not it's okay for her to be handling this incident.
This crash, Birdie, so come work it? Okay. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've worked a crash with one of us in it, so... No, he's not on duty. He's in his POV. I just didn't want there to be any, like, conflict of interest type issues. Alright, that was it. I just wanted to make sure. Alright, bye. Dang it, Birdie.
Brooke is given the go-ahead and told that there should be no issues with her handling this case, but that was before she noticed this.
You good?
Wait.
Huh?
Wait on his way.
He's not coming. Good?
Walking home, but yep, I'm good.
So, Birdie, you giving me some indicators?
Oh.
Listen.
Good woman.
Listen. Valdez is coming out just to... I'm not going to lie to you about it.
She's on her way?
Yeah, she's on her way. I'm not really comfortable with this whole thing at all, but I'm not going to lie to you about it.
Oh, no. I don't mean to put you in that Yep.
From now on, you know how it goes. You can't consume anything, okay? Because right now, you're being detained.
Wait, what?
It's obvious that Scott is under the influence of something. Judging by his slurred speech, slowed reactions, and slight loss of motor control, Brooke is fairly sure he's been drinking. At this point, Scott is no longer her supervisor. He's just a suspect in a case, and what's more, he's drunk and likely unpredictable. A combination which can be incredibly threatening to a female officer.
Please don't make my life difficult.
Yeah!
I would never do that to you.
Okay, I'm very uncomfortable right now.
And I apologize for putting you in that position. Are you on?
Yes, I am. And I'm going to remain on for integrity. You know you can't smoke right now.
Why?
Because if I'm going to do a DUI investigation, it impedes it, so you can't consume anything. I want to get that dog. This is a really cute dog.
Fear aggression issue.
You can always train a dog. You can't consume anything. You're killing me.
I'm trying.
But too late now!
After a short wait, another officer arrives at the scene, meaning they can finally start getting to the bottom of all of this with some sobriety tests. These lasted over 10 minutes, but it's not hard to tell how they went by just looking at a few seconds of them.
You may begin the test.
1, 2, 3.
Damn!
Judging by
rocking.
this and the overwhelming amounts of evidence against him at this point, the officers thought it was safe to conclude that Scott had been drinking that night and decided it was time to put him in cuffs. Something he was far from happy about.
There's things that we can do to fix this, but
It's got the hinge locks. Okay.
good to go.
Despite Scott being one of the most polite and respectful suspects ever on this channel, he was actually hit with a better sentence than the majority of criminal cops. After blowing a .156 back at the station, he was charged with driving under the influence and damaging property. He was ordered to pay just under $1,000 in fines, serve 50 hours of community service, and take multiple substance abuse and DUI classes, and had his driver's license suspended for 6 months.
It's not bad.
He was also sued by the driver of the vehicle he hit, and a cash settlement was reached. And on top of all of that, he also was suspended without pay for a week and given a last chance agreement, meaning one more slip up and he was out for good.
It's not bad.
Cops have to deal with all sorts of violent and dangerous criminals every day. But what happens when it's their very own family they have to arrest?
Yanni, why are you pushing me? Treatment! Knock it off!
This is Officer Kovac, a policeman who didn't approve of his daughter's relationship with 18-year-old Makai Coleman. After tracing his daughter's laptop to the residence, he spotted Makai's car driving by and decided to pull it over.
He's breaking her! He's breaking her shit!
You're going to jail.
Pa!
Get out.
Ah!
Have a seat in my car. We'll make shit up as we go.
It's immediately clear that this isn't a normal police interaction. That last phrase, "we'll make it up as we go," is obviously unprofessional and quite scary too. Officer Kovac has a personal and emotional connection to this case and has even made an unlawful traffic stop because of it. Even if he did have a valid reason to pull Makai over, he should have radioed for another officer to handle the stop. But instead, he's taking things into his own hands.
Any guns, knives, weed on you?
Yes.
What's that? Obviously. Go ahead and get smart before I can do something to you, even more.
The passenger side door opening means someone is still in the vehicle, and it turns out to be another of his daughter's friends, but she's still nowhere to be seen.
I tell you get out of the car? Did I tell you get out of the car?
Run, bitch! Run, ho!
Yeah, no, my daughter's in your house?
Conveniently, Kovac managed to pull them over right next to the friend's house, so he decided to have a chat with the mother after remembering his daughter's laptop also showed her inside of this house.
Black guy smacking her down too.
Where would your daughter be in my house?
Smacking
I don't
her
know.
shit
You don't, so
down.
if I check and you're lying to me, you're going to jail.
You can check, and I'm not lying to you.
She's getting a ticket because she wasn't wearing her seatbelt, so that's going to cost you $20.
And you know what? Get a warrant to
That's fine. I will.
The woman politely invites Kovac to search her home despite having no legal obligation to. He tells her that because her daughter wasn't wearing a seatbelt, he's going to write them a ticket for $200, causing the woman to revoke her consent to search. It's becoming clear just how much he's willing to abuse his power to solve his own personal issues. So the woman decides to speak up.
You're making this
You're being
personal.
disorderly.
How am I being disorderly?
She wasn't wearing a seatbelt.
I was wearing my seatbelt. You're making this personal. You want to take my daughter because you think your daughter is in my
No,
house.
she wasn't wearing a seatbelt.
I'm going to call 911.
Realizing exactly what's going on, the girl's mother reminds Officer Kovac that what he's doing is both unprofessional and illegal. But in a scramble to prevent the woman from calling his colleagues to the scene, he decides to let her daughter go without a ticket before discovering something nobody could predict.
Sees his daughter in the back seat. What's wrong with that?
I didn't even see you. Get out of the car.
Oh, she was getting blown out in the back seat.
Go ahead, you guys are good. Ma'am, they could go with you.
The officer's daughter, Caitlin, had been hiding inside Makai's car the entire time, obviously terrified of what her father might do to her and her friends. It turns out her fear wasn't unfounded, as he proceeds to essentially kidnap his own daughter by forcing her into his vehicle.
Get my car.
Fuck her up.
Goodbye.
You can't take me. I'm 18. You have to give me a reason. By law, Yanni, why are you pushing me? Are you kidding? Are you kidding?
Treatment! Knock it off!
You don't want me! I know! Why you can't do this?
Yeah, she did nothing.
I'm an adult!
Get in the car. She's going to the hospital. She said she was going to kill herself Friday.
No, I didn't!
Caitlin is essentially being kidnapped here. She's broken no laws and is legally an adult, meaning she can stay or go with anyone she wants. But despite that, he tells her that she has to come with him to the hospital as she needs a psychological evaluation. There's no need to point out just how badly Officer Kovac handled the entire situation. Internal Affairs did that for us. It was quickly concluded that Kovac acted illegally and irresponsibly. During the entire interaction, Kovac was listed as an available unit and was called to a domestic abuse case, but he never responded. Officer John Kovac was later fired from the police department for his unprofessional behavior. But it's not only police officers that can be protective parents, though. Take this example from Vermont, when a 52-year-old father tried using...
If God can't say these hoes, why are you trying, bro? Let the baby girl get bent over some furniture, over a balcony. Let her get swifty, you know what I mean? Like, bro, it ain't no fun if we can't have no...
an excavator to attack the officers that were arresting his own kid.
Oh, what? Nigga! What? Bruh, my nigga, yo, you, bro, what has he been watching too many Transformer movies? My nigga, do it!
What you're watching is essentially two people threatening each other with deadly weapons. The cops are in an extremely tough position here. They have to keep control of the detained suspect while also talking down his father, all while in a life or death situation.
Oh, shit! Oh! Oh! Oh, they doing it! Oh, they doing it!
Unfortunately, this is where the footage ends. However, you can make out the radio dispatcher informing other officers of a 1010 at the address. A 1010 is a fight in progress, and more units are quickly dispatched to help these two officers take control of the situation and take the entire family into custody. The son was arrested on charges of burglary and assault, while the father was also taken into custody and arrested. In both of these cases so far, a cop's family member hasn't been directly arrested, but this next case shows what happens when a cop has to arrest his own daughter for a DUI.
You stopped with this shit, you're arrested for DUI.
On the 28th of December 2022, a witness had observed a white vehicle strike a traffic light and then quickly drive off. A part of the vehicle's bumper had fallen off in the road after the hit. Around 15 minutes after the call, police located the suspect's vehicle at a gas station across the road, but the driver was the last person they expected.
Come back from Applebee's?
Yeah, I had a drink.
Okay. How old are you?
21. My dad is,
Snitch!
Listen.
She's snitching!
Your bumper's in the road over there. Did you just hit that pole?
No, I promise I did not.
No?
The very thing 21-year-old Teresa says is that her dad is an officer with the local PD, possibly hoping that he'd come and get her out of the situation. But the cops at the scene are sure that things are way past that.
You left Applebee's.
Yeah, I left Applebee's.
You cut through the plaza. You came out by Lowe's and Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Did you hit the traffic pole that's right there?
No, I did not hit the traffic pole. This part was hanging off already. I hit a deer in Pennsylvania because I go to school in...
Do you smoke marijuana recreationally?
I do not smoke marijuana universally.
Universally, smoking marijuana isn't the only part of her story that doesn't make any sense. She's saying that her bumper was already hanging off from an accident in Pennsylvania around 25 miles away, and it just happened to fall off right as another car identical to hers struck a traffic light. But Teresa has a trick up her sleeve that might just get her out of this. At least, that's what she hopes.
I hit a deer.
You see this?
I hit a deer before this. You can ask my dad.
This piece fell off at the traffic light that you hit, that you knocked over. 6-7. Do you have another unit out with you?
Call my dad. He's a sheriff's officer.
All right, hang out.
Over the course of just a few minutes, Teresa brings up her dad over 5 times, obviously praying that he'll be able to find a way for her to get out of this. But before he can come to rescue her, the cops are starting to zero in on what really happened and begin to get at least some of the truth from Teresa.
Did you drive away because you're scared because you had maybe had one drink and you think you're drunk?
Yeah.
And you might get arrested, but you don't seem like you're drunk?
Yes.
So you want to just tell the truth?
Yes, I'm telling you the
So when after Applebee's, did you hit a traffic pole? You can't miss it. It lights up. It's red, green, and yellow.
I hit a curb.
You hit a traffic signal.
No, I hit a curb.
Yeah, you went up the curb, you hit the traffic signal fell down, and you left.
I was texting. If you
Okay.
just call my dad, he would tell you.
Oh! Here's the thing. Your dad, the sheriff's officer, wasn't driving your vehicle today.
In just this one short conversation, Teresa admits that she did hit something, that she's more intoxicated than they realized, and that she was texting while driving. 3 driving faults that can each come with their own punishment.
Nigga.
So now that the truth has come out, the detectives decide to speak with her father, John. But it turns out he's not there to help her.
What's going on? Hey, John, how are you? So your daughter hit a traffic law.
Take her to jail. Get that bitch out of here.
Okay. Where's the damage on the car?
Okay, the damage on that car, on the car there, I think it was like the front right bumper.
John explains that Teresa did hit a deer earlier and that the damage was on the front right bumper, but it was nowhere near as serious as the damage the car was currently sustaining.
Can I come out? Are you guys out there?
That's up to you. I'll see if she wants you to come out, if she wants, you to drive her home.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Let me come out there and I'll see you guys. Thank you.
Okay, all right, sounds good.
It looks like Teresa isn't going to be getting the salvation she was hoping for from her dad, and just 5 minutes later, he arrives at the scene to talk with the cops.
What's up? So, what she's saying, and where the damage was and everything, doesn't really make too much sense. So, tried to get some more information out of her, but and then that piece of bumper there. So, for the other one, was it just the bumper wasn't hanging like that?
Yeah, no, so what it was is basically this was intact.
Okay.
This piece was missing. The scratches here, that's all from the deer that she who's the officers.
So right now, this is going to be my call.
Okay.
Coming out.
Okay, gotcha.
He's going to be providing all the details.
Okay, who's your supervisor?
Not that much.
I'm just asking.
The cops who were first at the scene almost seem as though they were expecting John to try and make excuses for his daughter, and get extra nervous when he asks who their supervisor is. Obviously, there are countless examples of corruption where officers, especially those in the higher ranks, are able to use their power to prevent their family from getting into trouble. However, the officers quickly realize all he's trying to do is gather all the information on the incident so he can make a fair assessment himself. This quickly becomes evident as he checks his text messages from her to try and create a timeline of events.
I just want to show you this so you can see it. You home 10:39. What do you think time do you think that initial call came? Because she probably hit it and was like, Dad, what the fuck do I do?
Somewhere between 10:45 and 11.
That's about right.
When we're talking to her, she wasn't telling us what she said.
I mean, lying to she knows, but I'm a cop. She knows not to do that. Well, maybe she didn't even. Do you think she? I'm not once. I'm saying she didn't lie.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to be very clear about that. But she might not even look at the freaking car to see if there's any difference.
However, despite John's willingness to help the officers out, the sergeant at the scene asks him not to get involved, so to guarantee the integrity of the investigation. So far, everything other than Teresa's conduct has been perfect and is a great example of proper policing. So, it's back to focusing on what Teresa had mentioned earlier. She says she'd only had one drink at Applebee's, but it's starting to seem as though she may be a little more drunk than they realized. Suspicions that were only confirmed after some field sobriety tests.
And everything that happened.
She been drinking.
I don't think that you were okay to safety
She been
officers
drinking.
in the vehicle.
Yeah, buddy. Sit up, bitch. Sit up, bitch.
Oh, your dad's right over here.
Show your pussy, bitch. Show your titty, bitch.
You stop with this shit in the car. You're arrested for DUI. Go ahead.
Have a seat.
Show your pussy,
After being
bitch.
forced into the police vehicle by her own dad, Teresa was driven to the police station where her blood alcohol level was tested.
Women like to be sexually harassed by attractive guys, so I'm helping her.
It came back as 0.17%, over twice the legal limit. As of this upload, Teresa is still awaiting her penalty, but has been issued a court summons for driving under the influence, reckless driving, and failure to report a car accident. Teresa's dad followed protocol perfectly, but what happens when instead of the dad being called to handle his daughter, it's the daughter who calls the cops on her own dad? Well, that's exactly what happened on the 24th of March 2023, when officers were called to a domestic violence case that turned out to be nothing like they expected.
So, is the woman crazy?
Put the dog in the room for me.
I was.
Alright, who called?
Me.
You did?
Yeah, sure did.
Alright, what's going on?
The woman who answered the door tells the police that she had an argument with her father where he threatened to punch her, and she just wants her parents to listen to her and take responsibility for the issues in her childhood.
Crazy hoes being crazy hoes, bro.
The responding officer immediately realizes he's in for a rough one.
Crazy
When
hoes.
did he threaten to punch you?
Want to treat me the way he treated me?
Hey,
I
are you talking to me or are you talking to them?
No, I'm not talking. You know, I'm talking to her, making faces
What
at
I'm
me.
saying though is you need to be talking to me.
I have never once called the cops on someone before, and this first time, and he deserved it.
Okay, well he's gonna go talk to him
No,
separate.
not without me.
Okay, then do you want us to conduct an investigation or not?
In this time, the cops take her father into a separate room where he explains that his daughter had been screaming at him all day.
Crazy
Apparently,
hoes.
she was blaming him and his wife for decisions she made, and he was getting tired of the problems she's causing them. Despite the toxicity of the situation, things stayed calm, at least until the cops found a marijuana pipe in the daughter's bag.
But you have a pipe in there that's commonly used to smoke
Why
marijuana.
don't you take this?
As well as the wrapping papers, so...
Well, go. It's not your purse. You don't have the
Okay,
right
it's
to
called
get in
plain
it.
view.
Go the way.
Plain view. Turn around, put
Blah,
your hands
blah, blah.
Turn around, put your hands behind your back.
I was trying to
Turn around, put your hands behind
Crazy hoes.
You're gonna be under arrest for obstructing if you do not comply.
Crazy hoes.
Stand
All right,
up.
now. Oh, shit. Right back. Oh, crazy hoes. Oh, crazy hoes. Get out of my tit.
No.
He was inside of her titty?
Get on my back. Get on my back.
Give me your hands. Stop resisting.
Conversation.
Simple.
He started threatening me, punching me, and I thought I had to call you guys for that.
Okay.
In the scuffle, the woman intentionally kicked one of the officers and resisted the arrest. The cops also searched her bag and found a myriad of intoxicants and illegal drugs. So they read her rights and took her out to the patrol vehicle. Back inside the house, though, things are only getting weirder. The officer hears a sound coming from the bathroom and decides to investigate further.
He's flushing his drugs.
Fell down back there.
Probably Christine in the bathroom.
Who's Christine?
A friend of Janet's.
Is she allowed to be here?
Yeah,
It's kind of odd that she stayed in the bathroom the whole time. Does she have warrants?
I don't know.
Hey, Christine, I need you to come out here for a sec.
Unsurprisingly, the mysterious woman hiding from the cops in the bedroom turned out to have warrants out for her arrest and was also put in cuffs. The woman's parents explain that their daughter has been troubled for a long time and has serious trauma from when she was younger. They tell the police that she's currently in therapy for it, which might have brought it to the front of her mind and caused the aggressive nature towards them. But they never mention what the issues are. Nevertheless, the woman was charged with possession of illegal drugs and resisting arrest. The parents weren't charged with anything, meaning their daughter's call completely backfired on her. Drawing from what we know, it seems that the parents were mostly in the right here and had just been dealt a bad hand. Things are completely different for Bruce Adams, though, a father who decided to take matters into his own hands when his son was arrested by abusing his power as a county commissioner.
Tell me who I called to find out why he's in jail. You want me to sue the son of a county sheriff?
In November 2022, Kenneth Adams was pulled over for running a stop sign. But as it turns out, Kenneth was in much more trouble than he realized.
How's it going? Good. What did I do wrong? Good. So the reason I stopped you is you didn't come to complete the stop sign? I did. And then you didn't have your turn signal on. I sure did. Okay. I know for a fact I had my turn signal on. Okay. That's why I was surprised you were pulling me over, but whatever.
The officer then took his license and ran it through the system, where he would discover Kenneth had a warrant out for burglary and theft of a vehicle. All of a sudden, Kenneth becomes defensive and refuses to exit the vehicle.
Can I get you to step out of the vehicle with me? What are you doing? No, what's going on? Seriously, what's going on? You have a warrant. How do I have a warrant?
Oh,
I don't know how you have a warrant, but it's on our system right now. You have an active warrant out of 7th District Court here in San Juan. I've gone to, no, that's incorrect. Okay, well, it's on our system right now. Well, I'm not going to argue with you about it. You're going to go to jail tonight on that warrant, okay? No, I'm not. Dude, this is absurd.
Mr. Adams, you do have an active warrant for your arrest.
And, who issued the warrant, though?
The courts have it issued.
For what, though? Because I've gone to court for everything. There should not be an active warrant for me anywhere, dude.
Kenneth claims that he's already been to court for his previous crimes, but the warrant still calls for his arrest. For the majority of smaller cases, the suspect is tasked with turning in the documents that prove that they've been to court and completing any classes they were made to attend by the judge. Without those documents, the court cannot confirm they attended anything. So when Kenneth forgot to turn his in, the warrant remained open, and the police had no way to tell that he had in fact been to court.
Issued October 13th.
For what?
Has some felony charges, burglary charges.
Dude, I've been to court for that. No, I've been to court for that.
You want to know the charges?
Yeah, I do.
So it has 2 burglary charges listed, a theft charge, mischief.
That's on my old case.
3 charges of burglary of a vehicle, and criminal trespass.
Yeah, why is that floating up now?
Kenneth was taken away to the station, but this is when his father, Bruce Adams, turned up, who turned out to be the county commissioner for the local area. How convenient for Kenneth. Immediately after arriving at the scene, Bruce demanded to know what was going on and quickly started to show signs of corruption.
Where's Kenneth?
He's in jail. They took him.
You already took him to jail?
They took him to jail, and I stayed here with the car.
Why?
For a warrant.
Who do I call to find out?
Find out the warrant?
You're a police officer. Tell me who I call to find out why he's in jail.
I gotta be careful with this stuff, Bruce. You understand that? Okay. That's the warrant. Okay, so it says warrant status active, offense burglary, burglary, theft, criminal mischief, burglary of a vehicle, burglary of a vehicle, burglary of a vehicle.
He's already been to court over that.
You saw the warrant right there. I showed you the warrant.
He's been charged with that, and he has a plea in abeyance on all of it.
What do you want me to do?
I want you to turn him loose.
I can't turn him loose, Bruce.
Who can?
Nobody can. He's been arrested for a warrant. The courts can.
And the warrant's false.
Huh? The warrant's not false.
You want me to sue the son of a county sheriff because he arrested my kid on a false warrant?
The warrant's right there.
Bruce is obviously trying to abuse his position and influence the commissioner to try and save his son from the law. But luckily, this officer stands his ground and refuses to cave in. Eventually, though, Kenneth was released from jail, the warrant was withdrawn, and no further action was taken against Bruce.
How the fuck? Damn, it pays to be white. I gotta get into this being white thing, man. They always just either whooped my black ass or took me to jail. And half the time, I didn't even do the shit I was accused of. Jesus. Well, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to comment, like, and or subscribe. Twisms.